Welcome back, everyone, to The Deep Dive. I'm Lex from Shield Media.
And I'm Vera.
And we are diving into a topic that I think a lot of business owners and C-level execs are probably thinking about these days,
Yeah, for sure.
which is AI and how it's being used in B2B marketing.
Lots of buzz around this for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a great article from B2B Marketing here called AI 101, How B2B Marketers Can Boost Efficiency and Revenue. And I've got a couple of other notes and things that I've found that will help connect the dots.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so let's jump into it. So, I mean, one thing that really struck me in this article is just how many businesses are already saying that they're using AI in their business strategies.
It is striking they're referencing a PwC survey that found that nearly half of tech leaders already had AI fully integrated into their strategies.
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty big number. And, it really does underscore that this isn't something that's coming in the future.
Right.
This is happening now.
Yeah. Exactly. It's happening now. And one of the areas that I think is really interesting is how this is impacting personalization and taking it to a whole new level.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about because, we all understand personalized recommendations on Spotify and Netflix and things like that.
Right.
But how does that translate when you're talking about marketing to thousands of customers?
Well, that's where AI-powered tools like Marketo are able to analyze massive data sets and segment audiences very, very specifically so that you can create a very targeted campaign to a specific group.
So you're not just sending out one, mass email to your whole list.
Yeah.
You're actually able to tailor your message to that individual or to that
individual or segments, smaller segments.
Got it.
But yeah, with the goal of creating those more personalized experiences.
Yeah, which makes people feel seen and heard and valued.
Exactly. And, speaking of real-world examples, the article highlights a really interesting case study with L'Oreal. They were able to save with AI-powered SEO, tagging something like 120,000 hours of work.
120,000 hours?
Yeah.
It's astounding.
That's wild. But it makes you think, what's the real takeaway there?
Yeah.
It can't just be about saving time.
It is about saving time, but it's about what you can do with that time.
Sure.
It frees up your team to focus on the things that humans do best.
Yeah.
Like those creative strategic initiatives.
Right. So rather than, having your team bogged down with these really tedious tasks, they can focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly.
I mean, it seems like a lot of people are afraid that, AI is going to come in and replace human jobs and replace creativity and all of that.
Right.
But this actually suggests the opposite.
Yeah.
That AI can enhance our creative capabilities.
I think that's a really good point. And the article even talks about AI as a creative partner.
Interesting.
Not a replacement.
Yeah.
There are tools like Jasper that can generate, multiple different design options.
Oh, test different approaches and help creative teams come up with better, more effective ideas.
So it's really just about kind of using it as a tool
Yeah.
to push your creative boundaries.
Exactly. And that brings us to another really interesting point in the article, which is the way AI is changing search.
Well, yeah, and I was really interested in this Gartner prediction that by 2026, traditional search engine use will drop by 25%.
Yeah.
And be replaced by things like chatbots and virtual agents.
Right. And this is something that, anyone who relies on SEO really needs to be paying attention to.
Oh, absolutely. If that prediction is even close to accurate, it's a massive shift.
It is a massive shift.
In how we think about reaching our target audience.
Yeah, we're entering a new era of search where, understanding these AI tools is no longer optional.
Right.
It's essential.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it makes me think, all of this AI magic really relies on having good data.
What if your data is a mess?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking, like garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right.
So if the data is inaccurate.
The AI is only as good as the data that it's trained on.
Right.
And so if it's inaccurate or incomplete or outdated, then you could end up with some really problematic outputs.
So before you even start thinking about, implementing these fancy AI tools.
Make sure you've got your data foundation solid.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about how AI is being used in core business strategies and, of course, the importance of data quality and, how it's impacting personalization and the future of search.
And the fact that it's not about replacing jobs, it's about augmenting human capabilities.
Right. So I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about here.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to dive into some specific examples of how businesses are using AI right now to get ahead.
Sounds good.
And what that means for you. So stick with us.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. So before the break, we were talking about data quality, and that actually leads perfectly into some real-world examples of how AI is being used in B2B marketing.
Yeah, let's get practical. I mean, what are some tangible ways that businesses are using AI right now to get ahead?
Well, one area where we're seeing some really impressive results is in lead nurturing.
Okay.
We talked earlier about AI's ability to sift through all of that data and pinpoint those high potential leads.
Right. It's not just gut feeling anymore.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond those basic scoring systems
Nice
and
one.
really understanding which leads are most likely to convert into customers.
Uh-huh.
And tools like Sixth Sense, which is mentioned in the article, are using AI to not only identify those hot leads, but to personalize the entire outreach process.
Oh, wow. So instead of a sales rep, making 100 cold calls,
Right.
they've got an AI assistant saying, hey, this is the person you should be contacting right now.
Exactly. And not only who to contact, but when to reach out, and even what kind of message is going to resonate best with that particular lead.
It's like having a superpowered sales coach.
Yeah, I like that. Super pound sales coach right in your pocket,
Yeah,
guiding your team towards the most promising opportunities.
that makes a lot of sense. So what about content? We talked about AI as a creative partner, but how is it actually being used in content marketing?
Well, think about the traditional content creation process, research, writing, editing, design, all of that. It's incredibly time consuming.
Yeah, and for a lot of businesses, time and resources are, they're stretched pretty thin.
Exactly. And so AI is changing that equation. We're seeing platforms like Jasper that are using natural language processing to generate all sorts of content. Blog posts, website copy, social media updates, even scripts for video ads.
Wait a minute. AI can write a script for a commercial.
Pretty impressive, right?
It's both impressive and a little bit unsettling.
I know, but think of it this way. It's like having a first draft ready to go in seconds.
Okay.
It still requires human oversight,
Yeah.
to make sure that the content is accurate and on brand and engaging, but AI can take care of that heavy lifting.
So it's more of a collaboration.
Yeah.
The AI handles the initial draft, and then the human marketers come in and add that strategic layer, that creative spark.
Right, and make sure it really resonates with their target audience.
Got it. And, speaking of making things resonate, we can't forget about dynamic creative optimization.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, so tell me more about this.
So imagine you're running a traditional ad campaign. You might create a few different versions of the ad,
Uh-huh.
and then you just kind of rotate them randomly, hoping that one performs better than the others.
Right. It's kind of a guessing game.
Exactly. But with dynamic creative optimization, that guessing game is eliminated.
Okay.
So tools like Optimizely, which the article mentions, use AI to analyze real-time data about the audience, and then it automatically adjusts the ad,
Oh, wow.
like the messaging, the imagery, even the call to action to best suit each individual viewer.
So you're creating like thousands of versions of the ad.
Yeah, you're essentially creating thousands of different versions of the ad, each one perfectly tailored to the person who's seeing it at that moment.
That's incredible. So what's the end result of all that? I mean, what are the benefits?
Higher click-through rates, better engagement, and ultimately a higher return on your ad spend.
So this all sounds amazing, but, let's be realistic. Not every company out there have the resources of a L'Oreal
Right.
or the tech savvy to implement all these tools. So what about, smaller companies or those who are just kind of starting to explore AI?
That's a great question. And the truth is, you don't need to be a tech giant to leverage the power of AI. There are lots of affordable and user-friendly tools and platforms out there,
Okay.
even for smaller teams. I think the most important first step is to really get clear on what your needs and goals are.
Sure.
What are your biggest marketing challenges? What are you hoping to achieve?
Right.
And once you have that clarity, then you can start to explore those specific AI solutions that can help address those needs.
So it's not about just, jumping on the bandwagon because everybody's talking about AI.
Right. It's about being strategic and finding the tools that are actually going to move the needle for your business.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, AI is constantly evolving.
I-
So what might seem really complex and out of reach today
Mhm.
could be commonplace and totally accessible tomorrow.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
key is to stay informed, stay curious, and be open to experimenting.
So we've talked about some really powerful ways that AI is already being used in B2B marketing,
Yeah.
from lead nurturing and content creation to this dynamic creative optimization.
Mm.
It's pretty clear that AI is a game changer for B2B marketers.
Mm.
But what does all this mean for our listeners?
Right.
What should they be doing to prepare for this, this AI-driven future? We'll explore those questions when we come back, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent this episode exploring, the world of AI in B2B marketing.
It's a topic that I think causes some anxiety for some
Yeah,
people.
for sure.
But hopefully we've, answered some questions.
Yeah, and kind of demystified it a little bit.
Absolutely.
And as we wrap things up here, I want to bring it back to our listeners.
Yeah.
Those business owners and C-level execs out there, what's the key takeaway? What's the one thing you really need to understand about AI right now? I think the most important thing to understand is that AI isn't just hype. It's not just a fad. It's really a fundamental shift that's already transforming the way we do business.
Yeah, and if you're not at least exploring how AI can be used in your business,
You're at risk of falling behind.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not about replacing your team.
Yeah,
It's about empowering them.
exactly. AI can take over those repetitive, time-consuming tasks
Right.
and free up your team to focus on strategy, creativity,
Wow.
building those relationships.
Right. And as we said earlier, it's not just about using AI in your marketing, but understanding how AI is changing customer behavior.
Especially when it comes to search.
Yeah, that Gartner prediction about the decline of traditional search engines
Yeah,
is something that everybody needs to be paying attention to.
absolutely. We're moving into a new era where understanding and leveraging AI-powered tools is essential.
So it's a time of great opportunity, but also a time of, significant change.
Yeah.
And for those business owners and C-level execs who might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of this, remember, you don't have to figure this out alone.
Yeah, there are experts who can help you navigate this new landscape.
And whether it's choosing the right AI tools or, getting your data in order or developing a comprehensive, AI-powered marketing strategy, there's support available.
There is.
And, if you're looking for a partner who really understands the power of AI and how to leverage these cutting-edge trends to achieve your business goals, well, that's where we come in.
That's right here at Shield Media. Our team specializes in local SEO, PPC, and SMM, and we focus specifically on helping Western clients
Right.
navigate, this complex digital world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So don't wait to get started. The future of marketing is here, and it's powered by AI.
It is.
And before you go, don't forget to hit that follow button and share this episode with anyone who you think might benefit from this knowledge. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive,
Thanks, everyone.
and we'll see you next time.